welcome, guys. Welcome back. And it's good. Thank you very much. In this good opportunity, I would like to tell you about the visual language. But before that, we are here to learn, to study. So before that, we need to strengthen our conviction by praying to God for the believer. So to those who doesn't believe in God, it's okay. Just need to strengthen your belief. Just strengthen your conviction to learn and study. So before that, close your eyes and pray time start. Okay, let's go. Visual language, as you know, the even English or Indonesian or Chinese or Japanese, any other language has a rule for their language. I think that's okay, but applied to visual language as well, language of the visual. There are some vocabulary for visual. There are some grammar that you need to learn because when you convey the message through visual, what will the audience get? What the message they will get? Okay, next. Now, the definition. Visual language is a system of communication using visual element. By using visual element, we are communicate. So the visual language is a system that rule over it. The term language in relation to vision is an extension of its use to describe the perception, comprehension, and production of visible sign, as you can see here. This sign is visible, so visual language need to be visible, right? If you hear it, that's not visual because the hearing is working, not visualizing, not visible. Okay, the next visualization is any technique for creating image, diagram, or animation to communicate a message. Or in the previous era or in the previous age, human use a sign in a cave or in Egypt time or in painting in the previous age. Okay, that's a technique. As of today, there is animation. There is a technique to communicate. So visual literacy, we are going. This literacy, it's going hard, but it's okay. It's easy. It's a set of abilities that enables an individual to effectively find, interpret, evaluate, use, and create image and visual media. Visual literacy skill equip a learner to understand and analyze the contextual, cultural, ethical, aesthetic, intellectual, and technical component involved in the production and use of visual material. So visual literacy in going to talk about visual communication, visual language, visual thinking, visual learning, and visual perception. Okay, the example, when the verbal desolate, how desolate looks like, as you can see here in the picture, how desolate look like, or crying is crying, eye is eye. You can see here that visual is more it's more global than verbal, because when you come to Indonesia, desolate, what desolate mean? innocent people won't understand unless they study English, right? So if you what show the picture of the solid or a crying people, it's more easy to understand. Okay. The goal tailor the presentation of their ideas to meet the needs of specific audience. The goal of the visual communication is tailor the presentation of their ideas to meet the needs of the specific audience. So, critical thinking to reflect on ideas and use of design element, design principle, material, method, media, and technologies are needed here to visual communication designer, right? Nah, we are going to talk about gestalt principle because this principle is very important for visual communication designer or graphic designer or whatever designer, right? Because it's actually the gestalt is come from psychology studies, and because it's very visual or visible, or this psychology is coming from the visual or your eyes. Media and material. The use of visual communication design, we use image, video, graphic, graphs, or graphic, or GIFs, memes. Even today, there are so many memes. That is the material or media of visual communication designer, webinars, screenshots, infographic, and etc. Okay, we are going to talk about when we are going to talk about visual, we are going to talk about idea become a text and become a visual. It's under the culture, right? When the ideas is in the form of verbal illusion or a vision of a creator or a designer, it's still inside the consciousness, right? So we imagine it become an image, or it can coming from myth. It's still a myth, right? So when it's come to the people imagination, it's that contain an ideology. So when people use a digital art and design the technique to create something, that imagination that contain ideology, that become some kind of art, and it can create the visual culture or budaya visual culture that contain a semiology or paradigm. So from the idea become a text that can be verbal, can be anything, and in the end of visual communication designer create the visual, the idea, text, and visual. Okay, this is one of it, sign and symbol. Sign is anything that communicates a meaning that is not the sign itself to the interpreter of the sign. They communicate pass across message to human mind through their pictorial representation. We can see here, for example, that there are no smoking. It means no smoking. There are a picture of a cigarette, and there are stop logo. So it means do not smoking. And etc. As you can see, it's quite easy to understand. Now, the next one is presentational symbol. Image is a group of colored points on a flat surface that looks the same as something else. A picture can look the same as an object or a person. Panda. We can see panda. An apple. The recursive symbol that occur over a period of time in need of cognitive process of short-term memory. So it needs a process of short-term discursive symbol, right? Such as apple. Before we see the apple, the previous one, we can see this is an apple because we need a certain knowledge, a certain memory from the previous one. Before we see an apple, we can perceive or understand this is an apple. So it needs memory and knowledge. The next one is visual and perception. Kurtz 2006 defines visual perception as a stimuli cognitive component of interpreting visual stimuli, or more simply, understanding what is seen from the vision and memory and the perception. We see this, the modern car, our memory is the previous one from the old age, and the perception is Volkswagen, the brand. Okay, it's still the same. This is done while incorporating all the integrated information with other things such as past experience, motivation, and development, so that we can derive understanding and meaning from what we are experiencing. Okay, this is just an assignment for you who wants to do it, to learn. Okay, thank you very much.